His Excellency the President has announced that our government will be paying a 10% across the board increase to all public servants for 2024 and an 8% across the board increase for 2025. This announcement on its own represents a very significant and important development because rates of increase in that order to wages and salaries are certainly significant, to put it mildly. If one were to look at the rates at which public sector wages have been increasing, or even wages in general have been increasing across the world, successive increases in this order are certainly of a significant magnitude. In addition to that, His Excellency also announced a number of other significant adjustments and improvements to the terms and conditions of employment of public service employees. These include, of course, the payment now of allowances for higher education, in particular, allowances attached to the attainment of professional accounting qualifications, the ACCA, additional allowances for the attainment of postgraduate degrees, master's degrees, doctoral degrees. And what this does is it enables us as a government, as an employer, it enables us in the public service to be more attractive to more qualified candidates, because we want, of course, to raise the quality of the qualifications, the persons that we're able to attract and retain in the public service. And it creates an incentive for more qualified people to work in the public service and to remain in the public service. And of course, on top of all of that, more qualified people should lead to better quality delivery of public services. And so the President announced also the introduction of these allowances attached to specified higher qualifications. But I want to go further and say that these announcements, as His Excellency indicated when he made them, these announcements reflect the achievement of a multi-year agreement with the Guyana Public Service Union. The concluding of a multi-year agreement with the GPSU is an extremely historic development. We have always said publicly that we would like to conclude multi-year agreements with the representatives of public sector employees, and we have worked towards this objective for a number of years. So, for example, you would know that just a few months ago we concluded a 3-year agreement with the Guyana Teachers Union. But that's not the first 3-year agreement that we concluded with the Guyana Teachers Union. When we were in government previously, you would know, your viewers would know, that we had concluded successive 3-year agreements with the GTU. This has been our position in relation to the unions that represent all of the employees in the public sector. And so the fact that we've been able to conclude a multi-year agreement with the GPSU is historic, because I certainly can't recall a time when any other government at any other point in time certainly in my recollection, where a multi-year agreement was concluded with a union. I certainly can't remember a multi-year agreement being concluded with the GPSU. Perhaps if one was concluded, it would predate my recollection, my memory. And so the fact that we've been able to engage with organized labor in this manner, first the GTU, now the GPSU, that too is a very positive development. In addition to the across-the-board increases, and in addition to the qualification allowances, the agreement also has a number of other important features. So, for example, the agreement addresses what is described as debunching, or the fact that within individual scales, you might have people of varying numbers of years of experience within those scales. So, for example, you might have complete newcomers in a position, or you might have people who have been there for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And so, in recognition of the fact that experience and longevity should be acknowledged and rewarded, what this agreement does is, particularly for the first 6 bands, what's called in the public service GS 1 to 6, the agreement provides for debunching. Specifically, those persons within those individual scales who would have attained in the first instance 4 years will be adjusted up to the midpoint of that scale. And those persons who have been in their respective scale for a minimum of 8 years will be adjusted upwards to the maximum of their scale. So that rewards longevity. It acknowledges longevity and rewards it. It acknowledges experience and rewards it. And so you have both an acknowledgement and reward for higher qualifications, and you have an acknowledgement and a reward for longevity of service. Additionally, the multi-year agreement makes a number of upward adjustments to several allowances, travel allowances, etc. And it also includes scholarships for public servants. You know, we have a very aggressive scholarships program. It includes the provision, particularly for the nursing profession, it includes the provision of 100 duty-free concessions every year for members of the nursing profession from staff nurse position and more senior. And so what that does is annually there will be a cohort of 100 of our most experienced nurses who will be able to access a duty-free concession, whereas previously they were unable to. That, of course, in relation to those specific categories of employees, those grades of nurses, that, of course, immediately enhances their terms and conditions. It enhances their ability to be able to become the owner of their own vehicle than previously. And so that's, of course, a very valuable benefit to those categories of employees. And so as a government, we're extremely pleased that we have been able to conclude this 2-year agreement with the GPSU, because that is our preferred mode of engagement, multi-year agreements with the unions. I should add that in addition to the 3-year agreement that was concluded with the Guyana Teachers Union a few months ago, in addition to the 2-year agreement that was concluded with the GPSU today, I'm advised that a 3-year agreement has also been concluded between the University of Guyana and the two unions that represent workers at UG, the UGWU and the UGSSA, awarding their employees the same rates of salary increase that were awarded to the teachers under the teachers union, the agreement with the teachers union. And so what we see emerging here is a different kind of engagement with organized labor, which we are very delighted to be able to achieve. And I think it signals a very clear recognition of our government's sincerity and commitment to improve the terms and conditions available to the working people in the public sector, and more broadly to improve the lives of Guyanese people at large. I might add that the benefits that we are providing under this agreement will see an additional injection of about $7 billion into the disposable incomes of about 33,000 government employees, public servants and members of the discipline services. And so that's a very substantial injection into the economy of additional disposable income. And it's a very significant injection into individual households as well. And of course, going forward, these households will of course be earning at the new and increased rates of salaries that would result from the increases that have been awarded. So altogether, it's been a very, very significant day today in Guyana. And I think it's been a very, very significant day in the interest of the working people of Guyana, and in particular in the interest of public servants in Guyana. Today was a very significant and historic day.